Hello students, welcome to Narayana Live Classes. Today, as a part of our assignment, we are going to discuss an assignment based on English revision assignment. So, I will read one passage and then I will be explaining the question related to it. First of all, read the following passage carefully and answer the questions. Now let us see. The passage is like this. The apologists of terror tell us that the root cause of terrorism is the deprivation of national and civic rights, and that the way to stop terror is to redress the supposed grievances that arise from the deprivation. In this paragraph, we are able to see that the apologists of terrorism, they tell us that the root cause of terrorism is the deprivation of national and civic rights. When they are deprived of national and civic rights, their mind go towards terrorism. Okay, and that the way to stop terrorism is to reduce the suppressed grievances that arise from this deprivation. So, if you are going to reduce the grievances, you can stop terrorism. This is the opinion of few people. Now, second paragraph. But the root cause of terrorism, the deliberate targeting civilians, is not the deprivation of rights. But here we are able to see they are targeting the civilians, the ordinary people like you and me. It is not the deprivation of rights. If it were, then in thousands of conflicts and struggles for national and civic rights in the modern times, we would see countless instances of terrorism. But we do not. So here we are not going to agree with that statement, because if it is so, if it is really so, then every day we are able to see thousands and thousands of terrorism instances, but we do not see those things. Mahatma Gandhi fought for the independence of India without restoring to terrorism. He also fought. He was also dissatisfied, but he did not use terrorism. So, too did not the people of Eastern Europe in the struggle to bring down the Berlin Wall and Martin Luther King's campaign for equal rights for all Americans eschewed all violence, much less terrorism. But if you see the world, there are a lot of things where the people are not satisfied, but they did not choose the terrorism. So he wants to say the same people like Mahatma Gandhi, who fought for Indian independence, and when they have brought down the Berlin Wall, and Martin Luther King's campaign for equal rights in America, all Americans, they eschewed all violence, much less terrorism. If the deprivation of rights is indeed the root cause of terrorism, let us say if the deprivation of rights is the main cause of terrorism, why did all these people pursue their cause without restoring to terror? It is a very good question. So, why the people pursue all cause without restoring to terror? Put simply, because they were democrats, not terrorists. They believe in the sanctity of each human life, were committed to the ideas of liberty, championed the values of democracy. So, these people, so everyone has to fight, but so many people, they don't fight. They go with peaceful way, and they are known as, they were committed to the ideas of liberty and championed the values of democracy. But those who practice terrorism do not believe in these things. The people who practice terrorism, they don't believe in democracy, they don't believe in the values, etc. In fact, they believe in the very opposite way. Their thoughts are totally different. For them, for the people who practice terrorism, for them, the cause they oppose is so all encompassing, so total that it justifies anything. It allows them to break any law, discard any moral code, and trample all human rights in the dust. In their eyes, it permits them to indiscriminately murder and maim innocent men and women, and lets them blow up a bus of few children. For those who practice terrorism, they don't see all those moral values, etc. They can do anything. They can do anything. They can blow a bus, they can kill men and women, they can bomb blast, etc., etc. Because they don't justify anything. It allows them to break any law discard any moral code. They can discard any moral code because their way of thinking is totally different. Now let us see the questions related to that one. Okay, now let us see. What according to some is the root cause of terrorism? What according to some, as we have seen in the first paragraph, the root cause of terrorism is the deprivation of national and civic rights. The deprivation of national and civic rights is the root cause of terrorism. Next question, prove that the root cause of terrorism is not the deprivation of rights. Now he is asking us to prove. How to prove? Deprivation is not the root cause of conflicts and struggles for national and civic rights have been fought without restoring to terrorism. So he is asking to prove, to support your answer. So to support the answer, we have seen Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and when they have fallen down, the Berlin Wall put down, all those things, they did not go to what? Terrorism. They have fought peacefully. Mention two international personalities who fought for rights without restoring to terrorism. He is asking two examples of persons who fought, international figures who fought for equal rights without adopting terrorism. Gandhi fought for the independence of India without restoring to terrorism. In the same manner, Martin Luther King fought for equal rights for all Americans. He too did not restore to any form of terrorism. The two examples, Mahatma Gandhi, who fought for Indian independence, and Martin Luther King, he fought for civil rights movement. Next, fourth question, who practiced terrorism justify? Who practiced terrorism? A, murdering people indiscriminately, they practice? Maybe yes. Maim innocent women and children? Yes, they maim innocent women and children. Next, they blow up buses filled with children? Yes, that is also. D, all the above. So this one is also correct, this one is also correct, this one is also correct. A, B, C means answer is all the above. Answer is all the above is the correct answer. Now let us see the question and answers related to our lessons. How does Kalam show his father was a simple man? This question is taken from the lesson My Childhood, written, it is an autobiography of APJ Abdul Kalam. How does Kalam's father Kalam show his father was a simple man? How do you prove that Kalam's father was a simple man? Kalam's father was a simple, self-disciplined man. He neither had formal education nor much wealth, and he avoided all inessential comforts and luxuries. By this line, we can say he was a simple man. Though he was not so educated, but he avoided all inessential comforts and luxuries. Moreover, what is purely needed, he gave to the family. Briefly describe Abdul Kalam's ancestral house. When Kalam was a small child, when he lived that house, he is asking to describe. You can see in the textbook in the first paragraphs. Abdul Kalam's ancestral house was situated on the Mosque Street in Rameswaram. It had been built in the middle of 19th century and was fairly large Pakka house made up of limestone and brick. So it was situated in the Mosque Street and it was built in the middle of the 19th century, means 1850 plus 19th century. And it was a large Pakka house, strong house, Pakka house made up of limestone and brick. Why did he use the word Pakka house? Because there were so many houses which are made of the thatched roofs, etc. Mud walls and thatched roofs. But their house was not like that. Their house was a Pakka house. Why was the father often irritated with Kezia? Okay, the next lesson. Kezia was very scared of her father. She shuddered when he spoke to her. Also, the terrified expression on her face irritated him. In his presence, she wore an expression of wretchedness. She seemed as if was on the verge of suicide. What type of activities irritated Kezia's father? Here we can able to see that Kezia terrified to talk to her father. She used to shiver and she used to stammer. And that one irritated his father a lot. In his presence, he wore an expression of wretchedness. expression of wretchedness, afraid. That one he did not like. She seemed as if was on the verge of suicide. She was so sad in front of the father, she can't express her feelings. Next question. Why did one of the author's companions kill the bear? One of the author's companions killed the bear, want only. In a moment of impulsive rush of blood, he may have thought the bear would attack them, and he may have shot it as an impulsive act born of self-preservation. So why did the author's friend kill the bear? They wantedly they have killed, because they thought that if they are not going to kill the bear is going to attack them. So in self-defense, they have killed the bear. Now let us see this one. Okay. Rearrange the following words to form meaningful sentences. Miss, here we are able to see some jumbled sentences over here. We are going to form it in a meaningful way. Let us read this line first, this jumbled sentence first. Part Kilimanjaro National Park of is the Mount Kilimanjaro. So in this, it is totally jumbled. So what do you think comes first? I think, let us see, this is the first one. This is the first one. This is the first one. Okay, this is the first one. Mount Kilimanjaro is the first one. Mount Kilimanjaro is part of the Kilimanjaro National Park. Kilimanjaro National Park. Okay? Kilimanjaro National Park. So, Mount Kilimanjaro is part of the Kilimanjaro National Park is the correct answer. Now let us see, doormat volcano is in Mount Kilimanjaro, Tanzania is. How we are going to make it in a meaningful sentence? How we are going to make it in a meaningful sentence? Now let us see. Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Mount Kilimanjaro is a dormant volcano in Tanzania. The answer is like this. Mount Kilimanjaro is a dormant volcano in Tanzania. Now let us see the third one. Highest Africa, it is mountain in the. For first one is, it is the highest mountain in Africa. It is the highest mountain in Africa? Now let us see the next one. The next one has been many of the subject of studies scientific. Now I think this is the first one. It has been the subject of many scientific studies. It has been the subject of many scientific studies. So the correct answer is it has been the subject of many scientific studies. Children, I hope you have noted down all the questions related to our assignment. So I request you once again you practice so that you can understand these things in a better way. Thank you. Have a nice time.